The quadruple threat, how to make your jump shot untouchable. I'm Tony, welcome back to Streetball Strategies.
Stop the nonsense, you are out your conscience, you are way out of line. You think you can stop this? You are not in training mode, this is not the process. Back-to-back wins on the throne is where I sit.
Today we're doing something we've probably never done before, which is to touch on advanced techniques and maneuvers for out here at the park. But I was thinking about something I used to do back in my competition days, a maneuver that I would go to when I would see it present me with the opportunity. And what makes this an advanced maneuver, it's something that's probably one of the most advanced things that you can do out here at the park. The reason for that being because it's going to require you to have a decently consistent jump shot with either of your hands. But most players don't develop a jump shot with both hands because it's difficult enough to develop a consistent jumper with their primary hand, let alone with both hands. But if you can get decently good with either hand, then you can use this maneuver to your advantage on a probably semi-regular basis out here at the park. So let's talk about how to make yourself a quadruple threat and why and how it makes your jump shot untouchable. We should start by discussing the triple threat position in basketball, which my quadruple threat stems from. The triple threat position in basketball is the first strategy that most offensive players ever learn. From this position, you're a threat to do one of three things. You can either shoot, dribble, or pass. And to really flesh this out, we have to think about it from the defender's standpoint. So a decent defender would realize that when he's guarding someone in a triple threat position, the most likely thing they're likely to do out of that triple threat is to start dribbling. Because an average player, a casual player, their mindset is, if you have a basketball in your hand, well, basketball players dribble the basketball. So if they have the ball in their hand, it's most likely they're gonna start dribbling either in place or in a certain direction. The least likely threat for an offensive player in the triple threat position is for them to pass the ball. Because it is very unlikely that from triple threat, especially if they're out beyond the three-point line, it's very unlikely that they're going to get an assist from that position. And then it is possible that you may choose to shoot out of the triple threat, which means without taking any dribbles or being any kind of offensive threat outside of shooting that jumper, you'll just choose to pull up and shoot that jump shot. So because this decent defender knows that you're most likely to dribble, and secondly, you may choose to shoot, he's going to be in a squared up, decently good defensive position, which means he's going to have his right hand down to defend your probable dribble, right? And then he's gonna have his left hand out to be able to defend your possible jump shot if you were to pull up for a jump shot, because he knows that 90% of basketball players are right-handed. So 90% of basketball players are going to shoot with their right hand, which is why he has his left hand out to guard your right hand, because his left hand is closest to your right hand. But what if instead of shooting with your right hand, you shot with your left hand out of this triple threat position? That's what makes it a quadruple threat. So instead of shooting with your primary hand, which would be one of the three triple threat possibilities, now you can shoot with either hand, making it a fourth threat, a quadruple threat. First of all, let's keep in mind, very important, you cannot telegraph that you're about to do this. You can't tip your hand to the defender that you're about to shoot a jumper. You can't telegraph it so that they can already, anticipate you shooting and get into a position to be able to block your shot. You want them to keep reacting to what you do. You don't want them to be able to predict what you're going to do and be in a advantageous position for them before you do what you're going to do because you telegraphed it. If you shoot with your offhand, you're going to catch that defender out of position. Now, it'll just be by a little bit out of position. It'll be by a few inches, a few millimeters, by a fraction of a second, but by doing so, you can pretty much guarantee that he is not going to be able to contest your jump shot effectively. But if you shoot with your offhand, your left hand, and he's defending your jumper with his left hand, now he has to reach across his body and your body to try to get to that jump shot. That puts him a little bit, but distinctly out of position. He's still going to be able to contest it, but he's not really a threat at that point anymore. Now, what if instead of using his left hand to try to block your shot, so instead of reaching across both of your bodies to try to block your shot, what if he brings his right hand up to try to block your left-handed shot with his right hand? If he had his right hand already up around his sternum area, right, now all he'd have to do is jump and bring his hand up from his sternum up to try to block your jump shot. He would have a better chance, a better opportunity to contest and block your jumper at that point. But because his hand was about 3 feet lower to the ground, that means he has to bring it up from that position in order to try to block that jump shot. Because of that, fractions of a second, inches, millimeters, he's out of position. He's still going to contest, he's still a barrier to your jump shot, but he's not really a contestant threat. He's not really going to be able to block it unless, like I said, you telegraphed your move and he's able to jump on it before you're able to execute it properly. So that's why you would use your offhand to shoot out of the triple threat position, because if you do so correctly every time, if you do it against a decent defender who's defending you in a very predictable way, you're going to catch that defender out of position every time. So now let's talk about when you would use this. What instances, what circumstances would be best to try to utilize the quadruple threat. So like with any other skill or ability that you're trying to figure out how to use it strategically to give you the best advantage, the more you try it, the more you experiment with it, the better you'll get a feel for when it's appropriate and how well it's going to work in certain circumstances. But the best place to start with the quadruple threat is to use it when you distinctly and obviously see your defender out of position. The most likely and usual scenario for that is when you see your defender trying to force you in one direction or another. When they're directly in front of you and they're squared off, they're parallel to you, in that situation, the quadruple threat is probably the least effective because it only catches your defender out of position by a few inches or millimeters or by fractions of a second. But when they angle their body in one direction or another, trying to force you in that direction, now one of their sides is completely exposed. So if you pull up your jump shot on that side that's completely exposed, now there's no way. It's not possible unless you completely telegraph your jump shot. There's no way that they're going to be able to recover and get back into a position to be able to block or even contest that jumper effectively. So what a lot of defenders like to do is they will try to send you to your left. So you'll see them, right? They'll be in front of you, and when they go to defend you, when you get the ball in your hand, right, now they'll angle their body like this. This is what you'll see. You'll see them angle their body like this because they want you to go to your left. They know it's probably most likely that you're right-handed, so now they're trying to send you to your left because they think that you're going to be weak going that way, and then they can force you to make a mistake by sending you left. When they do that, that leaves your left hand completely open. There's nothing here now to contest you in any way. There's nothing to get in the way of you passing the ball. There's nothing to get in the way of you dribbling the ball, which is what they want. They want you to start dribbling in that direction, but there's also nothing there to contest a left-handed jumper, because they don't think you have one, because they think you are a regular, casual player like they are. But you're not. You watch this channel, you are a smart, dedicated, hardcore street ball player, more dedicated than they could ever be, which means you also have a left-handed jump shot. It may not be great, it may not be super consistent, but it's good enough. If they leave you open, you can hit that jumper with your left hand if you have to, if you want to. It's not great, it's not gonna happen every time, but at least you are a threat to shoot with your left hand if left to your own devices. And when they play you like that and just give you the left side and they open up your left side completely, I say, if you're feeling it, if you feel like you can make that jumper in that instance, you should pull up with that left hand. Shoot that left-handed jumper. Take the risk. Shoot that open jumper if they give it to you. A player that has a jump shot with either hand and can shoot from either side of the basket on the court, what more of a offensive threat could that player be than to have such a skill set, such a vast skill set to be able to do that? As a defender, you have to respect that. You have to honor that player with good, solid defense. You can't play off. You can't play them from one side to the other because they can shoot with either hand. So now you have to respect them. You have to play them straight up. So while you can use the quadruple threat when they're squared up in front of you, it's better to use it when they're playing you from one side to another, because now you're wide open. You have a much better opportunity at shooting in relatively open jump shot when one side of your body is given such space by the defender. That is the quadruple threat and how to make your jump shot untouchable. It's all about finding your defender out of position and using that little bit of space, that little bit of time in order to have a nice, good, clean jump shot available to you. You'll recognize those opportunities not just when it comes to you and your defender, you'll recognize it in other players on the court as well. You'll see other players in positions where if they had an offhand, they would be able to pull up for a nice clean jumper because their defender is out of position, but they don't have an offhand, or they're not as intelligent and studied as you are, so they don't recognize that opportunity when they have it. You will. The more you play, the more you experiment, the more experience you have, the more you'll be able to recognize when those opportunities present themselves, and the more you will wish that you were able to shoot an offhanded jump shot, because the more and more you'll see that opportunity, and you'll be able to recognize that if you had an offhand, you'd be able to take a nice, clean, uncontested jump shot. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel. This is what this channel is all about. It's about basketball topics that are not thought about or discussed by any other channels on YouTube. I never tried to play professional basketball, was never concerned about playing high-level college basketball. I just wanted to be the best street basketball player I could be and enjoy myself while doing it. If that's the kind of content you're looking for, you're in the right place, so please subscribe. Drills and workouts are essential. They are something that you should integrate into your game. You need them to grow as a basketball player, but if you want to go deeper, further, have a better connection with the game than just drills and workouts, then Streetball Strategies is all about providing you with that kind of content. A new feature to the channel, the thanks button. Down below this video, there is a thanks button. When you hit that button, you are directly supporting this channel. And know that I make content for this channel because I love all of this. I have a passion for basketball that, while I'm not an active competitor anymore, I still love the game. I cannot get enough of the game. That's why I have this channel. And while I love all of this, I also treat it like it's my job, like it's a business, like I have a responsibility to the players who actually show up, subscribe, and support the channel. So when you hit that thanks button and you directly support the channel, know that I then will reinvest in this channel, trying to make it even better, to grow, to give you even better content. So when you hit that thanks button and invest in this channel, I will then reinvest into it to make the best content I can for you supporters. And like always, like, share, comment, hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever any of the videos on this channel go live. And until then, I'll see you guys next week.
I'm bringing the storm, the electric horde, full of force, pushing through tornadoes on a horse with the sacred sword. Giddy up. When I'm on the hunt, I kick open doors. I sharpen my fangs, they could hurt you more. Final form. Where were you when destiny called? Open up the sky, I'm bringing it on. Everything's changing, ring the alarm. When the smoke clears, I'll be in my final form.